All right. Today we are going to be painting this Knight of Shrouds, I think it is, on a ethereal mount. For color scheme, I have planned for this guy to go full on skeletor. And I think it'll look pretty cool and it'll work really good for an ally for my Flesh Eater Quartz army. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get the bone color set in a little undercoat, and we're gonna use this Citadel Seraphim Sepia to get that like yellowish kind of bone color that he has. I'm hoping this goes by pretty easily, but it could totally blow up in my face. So let's see. So we're gonna start coating all the bones on the model. Getting that's why we base coated in white, so that this would tinge the color of the bone to the correct color that we want. Otherwise I would have primed him black. But I think this is gonna be fine. Hopefully the fan in the background isn't too loud. It is mega hot here. So just hope you can hear me fine. Let's see, make sure we get all the My cat is upset that I've locked myself in this room, but he will have to be okay with it. Let's get under here. I think it kind of molds into the skin for this. So the horns I'm going to be painting probably like a black with a black gray with like a purple wash on it, or a purple highlight, so that we don't lose it. But hopefully this camera setup is a little bit better. I've moved into my cave and set up a nice table and everything to get things kind of centered and painted. I got like a nice little mat here to cover the table. Hopefully there's no focus problems. I got some good tips from some friends to kind of get this thing going. So we'll see. Oh my god, my kitty cat. He is a little baby and he has separation problems. But his mama is in the living room, so I don't know why he wants me. He doesn't ever want anything to do with me. But of course, when I'm doing something, he wants to play with me. So when I first saw this model, I thought it was really cool. I don't play the Night Haunts, but sometimes I don't always have to play the armies to paint the models in there. Like, I'll just buy models that I think are cool. But he does ally in with my Flesh Eater Quartz army, so I am able to actually use him in my games that I play. So that's pretty cool. And let's get in there. Poor little kitty cat. It's like he doesn't get any attention. Just kind of sloppily painted in there. Don't have to worry too much about this stuff. What is that? Oh, that's the shoulder bone, I think, of the horse. Just make sure we're getting in there. Getting all the nooks and crannies of this guy. So yeah, I think this wash is doing a pretty good job of keeping the yellowish color that Skeletor has on him from the show He-Man. I know some of you might be too young to know what that show is, or didn't watch it back in the day. Let's see here. Just a little last bit of it. Just some little, oops. Knocked my camera, but it's fine. Just making sure I don't miss things, because washes are kind of destructive when you have paint on here, so I don't want to miss a spot yet, and then be kind of screwed when the actual paint comes into this. So I think we got it. I think we got everything that we needed to get. Got its skull. All right. So I think that'll do it for our wash. So he's got a nice little yellow color to the bone on this thing. Let's clean off our brush. We don't need this paint anymore. All right, so next we're gonna do the purple. So the horse is gonna be purple to be his mount color, and his bottom rows are gonna be purple. And I'll probably do some lighter purples at the bottom. So I'm gonna use this Vallejo Blue Violet. I mostly use Vallejo paints. I use some Citadel stuff. I use Citadel washes always. And what's it called? And then any other specialty colors that, you know, I can't really find an exact match to in Vallejo, because Vallejo is cheaper, and these pots are just really good for keeping keeping the paint dry and stuff. So we're gonna paint this top cowl purple. Does have some chainmail in there that we'll get when we get to that step. Just being careful, picking out, making sure you're just getting the top part. Got it's a nice smooth surface, pretty easy to paint. Never painted these guys before, so this is all new to me. It's a little thin in some of these areas, so just making sure to go back over those areas after it's sat there for a little bit and dried. Using the table to support the model ever so often when I have to get to some details. Okay, I didn't see that is actually where they separate, so I shouldn't have painted that one purple. Hopefully the blue goes fine through it. Some little spots that I missed here and there. The inside of this thing, he's got the inside of this cloak that I'll have to get to, so that's not going to be fun. Actually, you know what? It might be the blue because I think that's like the etherealness of the night haunts inside there. So I think I might be able to get away with just doing the blue inside there. Okay, so we got his purple painted. And now we gotta get the horse. I think what I'm going to do, okay, let's see, because I don't want it to all be, if you go all one, like this stuff is the same stuff that's this right here, but if I made that blue, there would just be too much blue in the model. I don't want that. I want it to be a good balance between the colors. So you just kind of have to, you know, have your paint plan in mind, but also just, you know, be okay with changing the plan every once in a while, because everything's not going to be perfect. My paint scheme for my flesh eater quartz is very colorful. I wanted them to be kind of like good guy colors, you know, and not like the traditional dark, bloody, killer vampires. I know Skeletor is not a good guy, but I still think just the colors are super bright and cool, so I like that feel more than the dark and spooky of the flesh eaters. You know, you have to make everything your own. You don't have to follow the box art. You don't have to do what everyone says. Just do your own thing. You'll be way more happy with your models in the end. Oops, keep knocking my camera with my head. I'll make sure to get these like strands, probably I'll paint those blue, just so that it does have tie-in with the rest of the model. But for now, you can kind of just make changes on the fly and think about it as you're doing it. You don't have to go crazy and be like, okay, I'm gonna paint this part, that part, and you know, you don't have to make it so rigid for yourself. You can be a little fluid. Keep hitting it. Hopefully you guys don't get motion sick while you're watching this. So yeah, I'll just kind of blend the purple into the fire probably. That might look better when we get to that stage. I was talking earlier, and this channel is not all going to be me painting Games Workshop models. Just right now, that's what I have a lot of. And I have some stuff I want to do. But you know, we'll get some variety in here too. I mean, GW models are very detailed and they're very nice and very like fun to paint. But so are some of the other systems from other games. Like, especially like if you guys watching have any like suggestions for things that you'd like to see painted, definitely leave a comment on the video, and I'll see if I can find the model, and I can buy it and then just do some painting of that stuff. Because I don't know every miniature game out there, or, you know, thing like that. So if you have some ideas, go ahead and throw those in the comments. And we can see what we can do. That way it'll give me some variety in here too. I definitely have some bolt action to paint. I have some, what's that game called? Some Warcry stuff, but that's more GW. I have Batman miniature game stuff. I have, you know, there's no limits to what I will paint. If it looks cool, I'll paint it. Interested in maybe grabbing some Monster Apocalypse guys and painting some big kaijus and stuff. That might be cool. All this stuff painted. This paint's actually working a lot better than I thought it was. Sometimes you get colors in there really runny, or they don't cover as well, and these are doing really good. The color I hate the most to paint though, which you'll probably never really see me use, is yellow. Yellow is the bane of my existence. I hate painting anything that is yellow. It doesn't cover well, it doesn't stick well to the model, in my experience. You know, and of course I'm probably doing something wrong, but you know, it's just never gone well for me. I've even, like, you know, like I said, I'm a really big fan of priming the model the color that you kind of want to use as your base. And priming yellow is it's not fun all either. It does, like, you know, you still see a lot of the under model of underneath the paint. So I think it's like, you know, you gotta, someone once told me you had to prime the model like a neutral color, like a gray, and then kind of build it from there. I have some stuff that I'm working on for cosplay. I'm working on a yellow Power Ranger helmet, and I'm not going to be excited to paint that when the time comes, because it's got to be like super glossy and really, really good looking. So it's going to be definitely a challenge when the time comes. So that is, those are going to be blue. Let's get the back of the horse now. Clean off the brush every once in a while. You don't want the paint getting too high up in the ferrules of the brush. Just kind of sloppily paint it there because we're going to transition. I'll make the whole tail blue. A little bit of a transition there. Just kind of marking it up for me later, for future Dale, to know what color to paint these things. I can see where the models joined together in here, so that's not super great. You can see like the little pins and stuff like that come with a model. I'll just do that for now, just because, in case future Dale forgets, which he does all the time. Probably isn't supposed to be so hollow on this end. Maybe that's the bones I missed or something, but it's purple now. I'm gonna go down to there with the purple. Get here. when we get to the blue, we'll do like a wet blend of the colors. So like we'll just, a wet blend is where you keep the paintbrush wet, like with paint, like the paint is wet, and while the paint is wet, you put another color over the top of it and kind of like drag it into each other just to kind of fill out the colors and let them blend together kind of more naturally. You can also do it with an airbrush if you wanted to airbrush it, just the blue on, then that would give you a nice little ombre in between the two colors, so you wouldn't have to do a wet blend. It's probably a little easier to do it with an airbrush. But then, you know, you gotta clean the airbrush and all that stuff, and it's just more time that you could be painting instead of just cleaning your airbrush. So I guess on the last bit of purple right here, just through the back of the horse. It's not Battle Cat. I don't know the name of the horse off the top of my head of Skeletor. Throw his name in the comments if you know it. Alright, cool. So that's all the purple done. We'll dry brush the purple later to get more, you know, variations and stuff, and we'll wash it and stuff, of course. So now we're gonna go into this blue, and I found this really nice kind of electric blue. There's two that I'm probably gonna use. This is Vallejo Deep Sky Blue. It looks really kind of nice. And then this was the one that I was gonna use originally, this Citadel Lotham Blue. They look pretty close together, so we'll see what happens when we put it on the model. The white undercoat will make it look a little bit more electric. Let's see, kind of put this up to side. Okay. So now, yeah, that's what we want to see. We want to see this nice, cartoonish blue that you would never see on a real warrior riding into battle. It's looking really nice. It's flowing really good. It's a little thin, which is good though, because that'll give us some different variations in this like ethereal spookiness of the ghost. Because I mean that's what they are. They're spooky ghosts. It's a spooky ghost. This might be one of the times I don't wash a color, just because, like I said earlier, like washing really does kind of drown out some of the color, and it'll darken it a lot more than we want, because we, like I said, we want to keep this cartoony electric blue Skeletor. Just like in my last video, I might take it off screen for a bit to kind of get it in my face to paint. But I think with this setup, I don't have to. I think I've got the camera set pretty good. We'll see when I check the footage later. Definitely better than the stupid glasses cameras that I bought. I'll use those for something, but definitely not painting. He's got a little springy boinginess to him. That's what a lot of the complaints are about these models, is that they are this faction is very like springy. It's on, this isn't even glued down to the base. I bought this from eBay. It was already assembled, because it was part of the Soul Wars starter set for Age of Sigmar, so you can't get him by himself, which, you know, that's, I mean, Games Workshop does that so that you buy the starter sets, but it sucks because there's a lot of the leader models, the HQs are usually unique models and they're very nice sculpts, and you can't get that leader any other way than buying the box set. So, and the box sets aren't cheap. I was lucky enough to find some of these secondhand. They did just release some of them individually now. They did like the ogre, the architect for the flesh eater quartz, which sucks because I just bought it. I had just bought it from eBay for like $80, and then they came out with him by himself. So I was like, dang it! But you know, I think it was worth it. I mean, it was definitely a model that I wanted, and I didn't know that was going to happen. So I have it now in my collection, and I don't have to worry about not having it. He's definitely a needed character for the Flesh Eater Quartz army. I'll grab him in a second and show you guys. He looks pretty cool. He's, like I said, I wanted to do a little different paint scheme for those guys. So he is a blue, not this blue. He's more of a light sky blue, with some reds and stuff on his loincloth. And you don't have to go too crazy trying to get the inside, as long as you can just try to get what you can see, because it's inside the model. You don't have to worry too much because it's pretty dark in there. I might wash in there actually. That might be the smart call. Let me just 1 second and get show you the architect or archregent, something like that for them. My theme for that army was making it so that everyone flew. So I wanted all these guys that was making cool vampires, but here's this guy. Give him he has like orangish wings and red cape thingy, loincloth and gold for like more of the royalty stuff. But yeah, that's him. This guy's going to be his bro. And I also have a dragon that is part of that army too, and that thing's pretty dope. Alright, so we got the blue. We're gonna paint the tail, and we're gonna dip into some of this purple over here and just kind of bring it in. And just kind of mix the two colors together. Just dipping back and forth between the two colors. I think that's fine. And then you get this nice little transition over here, this little transition color that doesn't look terrible. Ooh, did I miss some purple? Stand by. I need to go here. Get this part. I think I missed something. It's bound to happen every time I paint. I think that is that color too. Let me put some more purple down. We got our purple. All right, back to blue. So yeah, not a very complicated color scheme. Very simple, very doable, not crazy. Get this all into blue. And then there'll be a basing material that I'll put over this is some like gray rocks to kind of, you know, set the piece and frame it and stuff. I'm just trying to get as much as I can really fast, and then take into my purple and just kind of blend it a little bit into these parts that we just got wet. So we're getting some nice like transitions in between the two colors. You know, it's not super crazy, but you know, it sells it. It doesn't have to be mega perfect. You know, you just gotta give the idea, and that's half the battle. It's just kind of selling the idea of it happening, more than it actually just happening, you know. Let's just do some little ones in there. Some more purple. Let's kind of carry this up into here. Cool. Okay, I need to put my blue down. Just keep cleaning that brush off. If you wanna make the brushes last as long as you can, I'm gonna try to keep the paint out of the bottom part right here, which, you know, I'm not doing a great job of, but these are cheap brushes from like Hobby Lobby. It was like $3 for, how much was it? Yeah, it's like $3 for a set of brushes, the free brushes. I'll take it. It's nice when things start to kind of turn out better than you thought they were. I was very skeptical about this idea, but I'm really digging it. It's looking really cool. So I won't be blending the hooves because the hooves are just flat. Blue, there's not other stuff blending into them. It's like here where there's skin blending into it. It's just the bare hooves. So just do that. Let's get the purple now. Just get this guy kind of, the rest of this stuff blended. seeing some spots that I missed earlier. So I'm gonna go back with the blue and make sure I get those. There's some like white spots in here and there. Definitely missed this whole other side of this robe. So I'm gonna go in there. And I know you're sitting there and you're like, Dale, you haven't painted his head yet. What color is that gonna be? Well, so Skeletor's head is the same is a bone, and it's the color of, you know, the rest of the bones. But since this guy has a helmet on, I'm gonna paint it gold. Give it that. You know what we also could do for this? We're gonna do something here. We're gonna take some white, this Army Painter matte white. This is the same color that I base coated it with, just in a spray can. But we're gonna do kind of what we've been doing with the purple and blending it like that. We'll do that with this white also. We'll kind of just glob some white on the little tips here. And you know, globs are fine because that way it stays wetter longer. And we can even do some of the blues like that. Just like the very tips of things. Like you can kind of see it starting to do it here because this pieces were already wet still. But you know. Alright, cool. So let's now take our blue, wipe some of it down so it's a little thin, and just kind of drag it into the white. And let it make that blend for us that we were doing earlier. A nice transition. You kind of went a little feathered at the end, so you don't have to be super clean with your line work and stuff like that. Like, there we go. So now he's got some like white tendrils on him, and he's a spooky Skeletor. Just keep switching between the colors to get the blends that you want. Down there. Cool. Looking pretty dope. Now we've got to do these chainmail, the straps, and I'll do the straps right now. I think I'm gonna go with a black for those. I'll go black with the horns too, but like I said, I'll do a dry brush of purple for those. But the straps won't get dry brushed. I actually might not wash this model except for the helmet and stuff because I think it looks pretty cool so far. Maybe the scabbard will be black. Let's see. This black gray. Oh, this is a Vallejo, again, black gray. I like using it instead of black because it is also gray, like the color says. So it's not just flat black colors on your model. There's definitely a time and place for that. But, you know, everyone gets to choose their own thing. So he's got this little bit in his mouth that we'll paint silver when we go to that stage. We'll get to the metallic colors. Get the back end of the reins here. You just want a light touch. You don't want to push too hard. You just want to you just want to touch the surface of the reins here. You don't want to get the undermodel. Except in that spot I did because I missed a spot, and rather than go back, I'll just paint over it. And now you can see the reins in there. And just pick it out with the brush. Brush there. Cool. Alright, so the horns now. Get with the black gray. Side as best you can. You can't really see it, so don't worry too much about it, but just get what you can. This horn is broken off conveniently so that he can hold his sword. Okay, so now he's got his horns painted. I've got to get the other side of the rein here on the bottom. Again, like while I'm going, I'm still noticing like some spots that didn't get covered with the blue here, so I'm just gonna pick those out and get those while I can. Just because I have the paint right next to me and really none of it goes to waste. Okay. Okay, so now let's go with his scabbard here. I think going black might be good. It might be like a good contrast of the rest of this. There's some metal work on it that I'll go back over with a different color. But for now, we'll get the body of it. Make sure we get here, which it looks like I did not do when I was painting the purple. Some inner thigh action going on that I missed. So I had no idea how long this was going to take to paint, and I'm hoping it's not crazy long compared to all my other videos. I'm trying to keep these pretty good length, but obviously like a 2-hour video would be insane. How long has it been? Oh, it's only been 40 minutes, 44 minutes, so we're not too bad. Let's get that. Let's clean up some of this. Looks like I didn't really get the sides of the spookies. So let's go through here and get the sides there. Okay. Cool, 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 cool. Now we'll go for gold. Just because, okay, so I might go silver with the armor part on the helmet, because if I go gold, it might be too close to the skin color, which is like kind of what I was going for Skeletor, but for the horse, probably not the best idea. I don't know, we'll kind of see what happens when I get there, but let's do the head. We're doing the Vallejo Game Color Glorious Gold. It is very glorious. It looks really good when you spray it out of an airbrush. It also looks pretty good when you paint it on, and also when you combine it with a wash of Reikland Flesh, which is like a reddish wash. It really makes the metallics pop, and it's like my favorite thing. I do it mostly on the bronze, the brassy brass colors that I have, but I did miss some purple right here. I want to go through that and make sure I'm getting that. Cool. Alright, back to the gold. You can see that this paint's pretty thin. It's also old. I don't know if it's too old to be using, but it looks like it's working still, so. Let's get the top of the head here. Hit the camera again. I'm seeing some like dribbles of blue on the purple. It's probably because I was like slapping it around like a monster when I was trying to paint it, so just gotta go back through and make sure I get this all cleaned up. Still want to look nice. He's a hero after all. You should always spend a little bit more time on your heroes than your plebes. It makes them, you know, they stand out the most. They're probably gonna live the longest, so well, hopefully they don't live the longest unless you're reckless like me and just fucking throw them into the battle. Let's see, let's take some of this gold. We'll go over the details on here. And just really light touch. Just don't go crazy. Just kind of want to give the cat's back. The contrast is going to be a little different on here than it was because it's on a black piece rather than a white piece like the rest of the model was, but it'll still be fine. Okay, we got his helmet's all good. Get the very under it. Okay, now we're gonna go to for my Night Hunt army, their swords are gold, their hilts, and their blades are, of course, the standard steel color. To kind of sell that they were once royals. They are the good boys. So I'll just kind of tie him in with the rest of the army with the colors of like the swords and stuff. Let's just that I'm at the sneak in here. Cool. So he's got his sword now. Now let's go to the brass, and that's gonna be it for the base coating of this guy. This is Vallejo Game Color Gunmetal. That's what I use for basically all my silvers. There is a silver color that I use sometimes. Is this old mithril silver color from Citadel. I don't know what it's called now. That's for like a really lighter color metal than this. This is like a really dark metal. But like when you wash it with the Agrax, it makes it look kind of rusted, which is dope. For this, because especially since these guys are dead, and if they were buried with their swords, they were probably rusted, right? I don't know, I'm not trying to add story to something that doesn't need it, but but it's definitely the color that you use for like this stuff, this chainmail right in here. Like, just go in there and hit that. This is making me realize I have to be very careful when I wash this thing, because I'm going to wash the chainmail for sure. Ooh, there's some spots I missed in there. Hold on and stand by. Come here. Just get in there. Okay. Back to our regular scheduled programming. Chainmail. Had a water drop on there. It's not good. You can soak that up with your brush though, and that'll get the grossness out of it. Okay, now for the armor piece on the horse. And the bid. The saying "chomping at the bid" comes from that. The bid is it's called a bid inside of a horse's mouth on the little reins. Okay, I think that does it for that stuff. Let me touch up some of the black really quick, because I did hit black a couple times here with the metallics. Okay, now, oops, oh shit, just got reckless and I didn't hit the model. Okay, good. We're gonna do some dry brushing now. Take your worst brush. I have this Citadel base Demonette hide. It is like a way paler color of purple. And that's what we want. We want a different color. And we're gonna wipe most of it off. And then we're gonna go over the model with it. And it'll just kind of, pick out our highs. It'll get into those little nooks and crannies. It'll get the high spots and kind of highlight the horse in a good way. Unless you put way too much on, then it'll ruin your paint job. So be careful when you do this. Don't go crazy. You can see that the purple's not fully in there. I'll have to do another coat of purple probably. It also does kind of add a little bit of a dusty look to your model. Also want to make sure to get the horns with this purple too. The dust means it's working. Let's just go with that. So you can see there's a little purple kind of highlight in there. This is just like the poor man's way to highlight. It just adds a little bit. It's not crazy vibrant. It's just a little bit. What we're gonna do. I think I might do some wash of the purple, but only into the little spots. Dude, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah. Let me just clean this up. This is pretty gnarly here. I don't know what happened. Just the paint was too thin there or something, but it's good now. Okay. So that is his pre-wash. So let's take a brush now. This is one of my older brushes, so I don't really care what happens to this. And get, I don't want to wash the blue, I don't think. I really like how it turned out. I think we're just gonna go, let's take this is a Citadel Druchii Violet. It's the purple wash. Let's take it and try to get some variation here in the purple. So I'm gonna take it and just kind of put it into the lines here. Something here and like here. Just really being strategic with it versus what I normally do, and I just go crazy with it. Because I really want to save this color as much as I can. So let's flip it. Pick out spots on this side. So right here. Got this little thing there. You got some like, you want to do like the ribs are kind of showing through here. So just kind of highlight that stuff. Some of the folds in the neck. Like underneath here where the shadow would be. Okay. Now let's go to the cape part. Some like spots here, here, and here. Just really kind of picking it out. Just this here. There we go. See some tail stuff too, just a little bit. Because it's dark and we want to have a transition here. Okay. I think we got to get some more here on the ribs too, because you can see the ribs a little bit through here. So just kind of take that like that. Alright. So now that we have that, we're going to take our Agrax Earthshade. No, we're not going to do that. We're going to take the Reikland Flesh. Yeah! Reikland Flesh. This is a very small pot of it, but it has a little bit of life left in it. I'm going to take it. We're going to hit the metallic with it, this gold with it. Like I said, this is going to really bring out the gold and really make it shiny and regal, which is what we wanted. shaky hands. There we go. There's that. And we're gonna get the hilt and stuff with the sword. It really doesn't take a lot of this stuff to make it to work on here either. It's a little bit goes a long way on these colors. And we gotta get the scabbard here. Oops. Just take this. Up. Cool. Now we take the agrax and just get the metallic color. We'll get the bolt gun color wash. This is Citadel Agrax Earthshade. It's the do everything wash. It's the one that I used to use all the time on everything. It's a brown wash. It kind of dulls things out. See, it's a brown wash. Just a very dirty wash that you can use for like shadows and all sorts of stuff. It just, if you're a beginner, I would definitely say just slap this on your models in the beginning and you'll see a big improvement just with this wash. Oh, now we gotta get the chainmail. I almost forgot about that. Cool, and just this last little bit on this side. And that does it for the model. Thank you for sticking around and supporting my channel. I appreciate it. Again, if you have any thoughts on things that you'd like to see, feel free to hit me up on the chat. We're gonna do some nice little, got a nice little turntable now that we can do cool final shots for. So here he is. Knight of Shrouds on Ethereal Steed, the skeletor of the entire thing. Thanks again. If there's any models that you want me to paint, again, put it in the comments. Thanks for the subscribe. Smash that subscribe button. Alright, see you guys next week.